In this video, I'm going to talk about trading tools and pre-market routine. So we're going to touch a lot of different things here. I'm going to share with you the platform I use, the broker I use, why my platform Dash Trader Pro is so powerful and that I really swear by it. So we're going to overview of that platform. I'm going to share with you all the equipment necessary for day trading, and I'm going to talk about what kind of equipment I actually use myself. Then I'm going to teach you everything I do in the pre-market. So everything in terms of building up my watch list. So what kind of tickers I like to trade and how I pick those tickers. Then I'm going to have a pre-market prep, and I'm going to share with you everything I do before the market open. And I will have at the end a live example of that. So I will connect myself on a live trading day just a little bit before the market open and guide you through everything that goes to my mind and everything I want to see to build that watch list. So without any further ado, let's jump into that presentation. So if you're new to trading, you might be a little bit confused about how to set up your platform. What is a broker? What is a platform? How do I set up myself to actually start trading and have some transaction? Well, I've been there and I was really confused in the beginning as well. And I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can here. So there's two main category here. So you have a platform and you have a broker. Your broker is basically the company that holds your money and connects you to the stock market. So you can think of it like a bank account for trading. That's Interactive Broker in my case. Interactive Broker is a really popular broker. It's really safe. You can have it on pretty much all the countries. And I really recommend using Interactive Broker, but there's a lot of different brokers here that you can actually use. The one I've been using since I started trading is Interactive Broker. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I really like the way it works, and the service is really good with it. Then you have your platform. So your platform is basically the software that you use to analyze chart and send orders. So everything technicals, it's with the platform. That's Dash Trader Pro for me. So it's what I've used every single day to actually execute my trades. Dash Trader Pro is a platform I've been using since I started trading. I know there's a bunch of different kind of platform out there. I know TradingView is pretty good. It's a lot cheaper. Dash Trader is a little bit more expensive, but definitely worth the price. And they actually have a mode of replay. So if you just want to simulate for a while, practice with fake money, Dash Trader offer that option. I'm not sure how much it is per month for the simulator. I think is about 50 bucks a month. And to use the platform with level 2 and access to options and everything, I pay around, I think it's like 160 US per month. So kind of expensive for a platform, but definitely worth the investment. And you got to see trading as a business, right? So any kind of business you want to start, well, you will have some expenses, you will have some revenue, and you cannot be scared of needing to spend money to make money. And trading is no different. It's a business, and you need to be willing to pay those expenses, or either from the broker, from the platform, from the commission. That's just part of the game. So those are the two I use. So Interactive Broker will be linked with my Dash Trader Pro. So when I execute on Dash Trader Pro, it actually takes the transaction through the feed in Interactive Broker. So both are connected here. But Interactive Broker is basically the bank account. And Dash Trader Pro is the technical, is the platform. And we're going to see it together in a bit. In my opinion, Dash Trader Pro is like the Lamborghini of trading platforms. So there's a lot of benefits of using Dash Trader Pro. First is that it's lightning fast execution. So there's no delays and you have direct market access. And day trading, that is super important because you enter some position really quickly and you want to get out really quickly. So Dash Trader Pro will be able to execute you really fast and you're not going to lose a lot with the spread that way. Then another really nice functionality that Dash Trader Pro have is custom hotkeys. So enter or exit trade instantly with one button. So if you're a scalper, for example, that's not my kind of trading, but if you're a scalper, using hotkeys is really, really powerful. And Dash Trader Pro offer any kind of hotkeys you want. You can automate everything. Then smart order routing. Your orders go through the best exchange automatically, so another really powerful tool with Dash Trader. Then you have advanced charting, customizable layouts, multiple time frames. You have the VWAP, moving averages, any kind of indicators you can think of. Dash Trader Pro pretty much have all of them. And what I really like about Dash is that you can customize your platform the way it looks, the way you want. So you can, if you prefer having your chart darker, if you prefer having your chart white, you want it in the bottom right, on the top left, you can really customize it the way you want. And I'm going to share with you in a bit just the way I have customized my platform of Dash Trader. And really it depends on your style of trading. I always move some little things here and there, but really nice to have the way to customize your platform the way you like it. Then integrated level 2 and time and sales. So you can see real-time order flow and liquidity. This is something I was using when I started trading, but I stopped using not too long ago because I'm really trying to simplify things and remove a lot of noise, keep things as much simple as possible. For me has been really a key factor for my trading success. But if you're a kind of trader that use really level 2 or time and sales, this platform Dash Trader Pro offers it, and it's pretty clean, works really nicely. So those are the main benefits of Dash Trader Pro. Now I want to share with you something that I think is really important to know and really powerful with the interactive broker. So the leverage you can use with your broker, in my opinion, is a game changer. So when you open a margin account with interactive broker, you can borrow funds from your broker to take larger positions than your cash balance allows. So for example, usually with a margin account on Interactive Broker, they give you a 4-to-1. So that means if you deposit 10,000 US in your account, you can buy up or short up to 40,000 worth of stock. The interesting thing here is that we're doing day trading, right? So at the end of the day, all the positions are closed and we're just maintaining cash in our account. So that way you're not paying any kind of interest on the margin you can use. So it's a good way to use more money to make bigger profits. So if, for example, my return in day trading is about 100% a year, well, that 100% a year, I will make it on 40,000 and not on 10,000. So that means that the return on my 10,000 is actually 4 times more. So it's like 400%. So that way you can really leverage your money, and you can start with a smaller amount of money and still make some really decent returns. Another interesting leverage you can use, but if you're starting trading, I don't recommend it because it's a lot more dangerous, is using options. And you have that possibility with Interactive Broker, and same thing with Dash Trader, you can execute with options. So options is, I'm not going to get too much in details with options, but it's basically a contract and you have a lot more leverage with those contracts. And if you're more experienced with trading and you want to really start a small account and try to grow it as much as possible, well, options is definitely a good possibility. So really important here to remember that used correctly, it will increase efficiency, but used emotionally, it will destroy accounts. So really, we need to be careful with leverage. It's a tool that can be really powerful, but can be really dangerous in the same time. And you need to make sure to have a really good risk management. And this is what we're going to talk in the next video, risk management, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of day trading. On this part of the presentation, I want to go with you through Dash Trader Pro. So how the platform looks like and how I place the chart to manage my style of trading. So what you see on the screen here is my platform of Dash Trader Pro. The really nice thing about this platform is that you can customize it the way you want. So the way you see it now is the way I like it. But if I want to remove a chart here, make it smaller, make it bigger, if I want to bring it to another place, I can customize it literally the way I want. So for example, if I start a new tab here, I call it test. So here we're starting from scratch, and then I can really customize it the way I want. So I can add, for example, a chart here. Then the chart, I can, let's say we put NVDA on it. Now it's already customized the way I like it, but if I want to put some different kind of indicators, remove the moving average, add the Bollinger Bands or whatever, in study config here, I have a bunch of different studies, different indicators I can add to the chart. They're pretty much all there, and you can customize every one of those indicators. So really nice here. You can change the colors, you can make it bigger. If I want, for example, the 50 moving average to be a little bigger than what I have here, I can change the color, change the width, and there you go. So really customizable. You can then drag on the chart to make it bigger. You can choose the time frame you want, so daily chart, weekly chart. You can put it to a 30 minutes. Really, really easy to use. After that, if I want to add, for example, the montage where I will place my execution will be here. I can link it to the chart using this arrow here. So if I tap NVDA, will change automatically. If I want to switch to Apple, will always change like that. Really nice, really easy to use. Then you can add a bunch of different things here. You can have the time in cells. You linked it again here. You can add, what else you can add? You can add your trades, you can add your account, pretty much everything here. So the way I have it designed is what I have here. So I have, what you see right now is this screen is my execution screen. So it's not my watch list screen. My watch list screen is on another one, and it's basically 3 time frame for each ticker. So a little bit later I can show you how my watch list looks, but now let's focus on my execution screen. So what I have is some charts here. So I have the 1 minute chart and the 30-minute chart to have a better idea of a bigger time frame. And what you see down here is the same exact chart. So 1 minute, 30 minute on the same ticker. The only difference here is that the candle pivot point on the upper side here is using pre-market data compared to the lower charts here are not using pre-market data. So they will vary a little bit. For example, if we look at R4 here on NVDA using pre-market data, it's at 212.26 compared to this chart here. R4 is at 27.21. So depending on the pre-market action, I will decide if I prefer to watch the candle pivot point with or without pre-market data. Then what we have on this part here is my watch list. So on that side, I was having NVIDIA, AMD, PLTR as main stocks in my watch list. And on that watch list on the downside here, I was having Tesla. I decided to split them like that because I knew that Tesla, I wanted to analyze Tesla today without pre-market data. So if it's on my watch list on the lower part here, I know I will analyze it with the 2 charts on the bottom part. And the rest of the tickers, NVIDIA, AMD, PLTR, my secondary SMCI, Amazon was on those 2 graphs here. Pretty straightforward. After that, I have this box that you see right here, which is my execution. So if I take a trade, we're going to see it. We're going to do a little example in a bit together, and you're going to see that I see my positions right here on this box. So I will see the ticker I'm trading, the percentage, the realized PNL, unrealized PNL, the amount of money that I need for the trade, the amount of shares, average cost, and the account. After that, I have this chart here, which is the daily chart. This one, you don't need it necessarily, but I like to keep it up to give me a better idea of a bigger time frame, what's going on, what is my bias using the daily chart. And lastly is this box here, which is everything related with the execution. So either I'm having a $200 risk or a $100 risk, or using options with either a $100 risk or a $200 risk. That's how I have it set up now for the 5K challenge I'm doing. So 5K account challenge. After that, here I have the sell 25% of my position, 50%, 100%, then stop at break even. Same thing for cover here. So those are the main hotkeys I'm using. And after that, you see the orders here. You can pick the account, the amount of shares. You can manually do that as well. And lastly, the time, which is important to keep an eye on it. So that's pretty much the way I have set up my my execution screen. And the charts are pretty much all the same. So they use the same kind of indicators like the opening range, the candle pivot point. I have the previous day close, previous day high, previous day low, and the VWAP, of course. So this is how my execution screen looks like. So now let's see an example together of what do I do if I want to take a trade. So now there's no trade setup, of course, but for the sake of that video, I'm going to share with you how my script work and take a trade in simulation. So let's say on NVDA here, I want to go long. So the first thing I need to do is, before entering a trade, I need to figure out where my stop loss will be. So if I want to go long, I'm betting that the price is going to go up. I need to figure out, if the price don't go in my direction and start going down, where I'm going to get out of the trade. So this is what we call a hard stop. So let's say in that case, I want to go long and I want to put my stop below 206. So if the price reverse here and decide to go lower at 206, I will be out of the trade. So I will double click here on the chart. And you see when I double click, this 206 entered right here. So this is where the stop loss price will be set. If I double click again, let's say at 206.50, well, will be 206.50 here. So let's say that this is my stop loss, so 206.45. The only thing I need to do after that is press what kind of risk I want. So either I go here with a $200 or $100. Let's go with a $200 risk. So I just click that button here. Let me make sure to jump into a simulation account. And boom, automatically I enter the trade. The script calculated the amount of share automatically for me. So I don't even know how many shares I have unless I look at what I have here. I don't even know what is my withhold buying power here. It just calculates with the risk I'm willing to lose on the trade. So the moment I enter here, if we look at, for example, the 30-minute chart, we see it better here. So we can see that automatically when I enter, two orders were placed in the market. One here, which is the price I set up for my stop loss. So if the price reverses on me, here I will be out of the position automatically. And there's another one here at 210.41. This is exactly a 3-to-1 risk to reward. So I know that this is my entry. This is my entry here. This is my risk. And 3 times that distance here is my profit target. So I'm risking $100. If the price reach all the way to 210.41, I know I'm $300 in profit there. This you can set it to 2-to-1, to 1-to-1, 4-to-1. You can really customize it the way you want. But it's really good and really important that the moment you enter the trade, you can literally walk away if you want. Just let your 2 orders there and you come back later and see, did the trade work or lost? So here there's 2 possibilities. Either I lose $100 or I made $300. Or it's late in the day here, so it's possible too that the price just goes sideways and I need to manually close the trade. On this box right here, you can see the trade I'm in. So you can see the unrealized profit right here. You can see that for that trade of $200 risk, I needed 41,000. I have 202 share and my average cost is 207.44. Now, let's say I'm happy with the profit I'm in already and I want to consider scaling out of the position. So what I can do here is sell 25% of my position. So if I click this button right here, you can see that automatically Dash Trader Pro filled me right there really quickly, really fast execution, and automatically placed my stop loss at break even. So my entry price was 207.44, so it placed the order exactly at 207.44. So we can see that on the box here, it made me a realized profit of $21 already. And the worst case scenario is that it's going to stop me out at break even and I'm going to walk away with a $21 profit. So you can use a partial of 25%, 50%, or 100%. You can customize those if you prefer a 10%. If you prefer 30%, you can really have it the way you like it. Let's say you want to move your stop loss a little bit closer to the price here to protect some gains. You can drag that order up or you can drag it down as well. Let's say you're not happy with the result here, you want to give it a little bit more room, well, you can drag it below the recent low and go like that. If now I want to take more off of the table, I can also go with, let's say I'm selling another 50% here. Stop loss automatically placed at break even, and again, you can drag those. So this is basically how the orders work. Now we did the example for a buy. It works exactly the same way if you want to do it for a short. You just use those hot buttons here instead. But that's pretty much the way I trade using scripts. If we go to edit here, this is actually the script I'm using. If I want to risk more, I can change the number here, which is at $200. I can put it to 1,000, to whatever amount of money you're willing to lose on the trade. So this is the way I use my execution screen. Now let's see how I have my watch list screen set up. All right, so this is my watch list screen. So pretty straightforward. I have 4 tickers here. So I have AMD, I have NVDA, PLTR, and Tesla. So those are the main stocks I picked today for the trading day to be on my main watch list. And I have 3 charts per ticker. So I have the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute. That's the way I have it set up. If you prefer having only 2 chart per ticker, like the 1 minute, 30 minute, that's fine too. I think one smaller time frame, one bigger time frame is a good way to go. Gives you a good idea of the story that is going on with the stock. And here I keep it to 4 stock because I feel like if I put more than 4 will be too much information for me to read, will be too noisy. So 4 is really my comfort zone. And my 2 secondary stock, well, I alternate those onto my execution screen. So that's the way I have it set up. So we can see the trade we just took in simulation for the test of the hotkeys here on NVDA. So the execution will be shown on your watch list, same thing on your execution screen. And basically this screen you see right here, my execution screen, is static. So I don't really touch this. The moment I set it up in the pre-market will be the same way I have it all day. And all I have to do with this screen is really pay attention. And honestly, probably 80% of my trading, this is where my focus is, because most of the time I'm not in a trade, I'm looking for a trade. So all my attention is on that screen and needs to be clear, needs to be clean, and I keep it static that way. So that's the way I have it figured out with the same kind of indicators. So I have, again, the moving averages. I have the kind of like pivot point, previous day close, high and low. I have the VWAP, and of course the volume. So this is how I have my trading setup. This is how DAS Trader work in a quick session. I know I haven't touched to all of the functionalities, but there's a bunch of videos, for example, on YouTube, if you want to go more in depth, more in details into some specific things that DAS Trader Pro. There's a lot of things that DAS can do, and I'm far from being a professional of the platform. Another good thing to know about DAS Trader Pro is they have the help button here. You don't see it, it's on my execution screen, but you can go to a help live chat support, and they're really quick to respond. Is real people, and they can help you with pretty much anything you want. Like if you want a specific script with a specific risk doing some really specific functionalities, they can give it to you, they can build it for you. Really great support, honestly. And yeah, hopefully that was a clear introduction of DAS Trader Pro. Now, if you're new to trading, you might be wondering what kind of equipment you need to get started. Well, I can tell you right away that you don't need to spend a crazy amount of money for your equipment. And we're going to see all the lists you need together. So the first thing definitely will be a computer. And you don't need to spend like $5,000 on a gaming PC, but you do need reliability and speed, really important. Then monitors. So this is your vision field. My recommendation here is minimum 2 monitors. The way I have it for my trading is I have 1 monitor for my execution, another monitor for my watch list, and I have 2 more monitors that are not necessarily for trading, but I like to keep, for example, my documentation and another page just to do some research. But minimum, I'll say 2 monitors. If you're trying to just trade on a laptop, I think will be a little complicated. Definitely doable, but if you want to watch multiple stocks in the same time, will get a little bit tricky. So 2, I think, is a really good balance. Then the third thing you're going to need is internet connection. So this one is underrated. Your internet is your lifeline. So really important to have a solid internet connection so the data feed is really up to date and quick. And another thing I recommend here is having a cell phone close for backup. So if, for example, you're trading on your Wi-Fi and I don't know, something happened, you lose Wi-Fi, you're in a position and you don't have some stop loss in place, well, having your cell phone to be able to connect to your interactive broker really quickly and be able to exit the position if needed is super important if you want to avoid disaster. So this one is important. So basically you can execute your trades through, for example, DAS Trader Pro, through your platform. But if you need to close a position manually, let's say with your cell phone, well, you can connect to interactive broker. So definitely directly to your account and be able to save yourself there. And the last thing you will need is audio and workspace. So if you don't need it, you don't need basically a fancy setup, but your environment must help your focus. This is really important. So not necessarily, but I will recommend like a quality headset or speakers if you want to listen to some news, some mentors, if you like to connect to some chat rooms, have some soft music on the background to really keep yourself in your own bubble here. Then you want to be quiet, you want to be distraction free. This is super important to keep your environment really calm here. So a clean desk setup is good. You don't want to be super messy because it's going to indirectly affect your trading. You want clarity both mentally and physically. Really important in trading. So this is basically how my setup looks like. So I have 4 screens, but I only use 2 for trading. So the first one here is for my execution. So when we're gonna see that a little bit later together, I'm gonna show you that this is where I place my trades. So this is the hot buttons I use. And then I have the charts that I use for my execution. So this is all showing the same ticker. In that case was Tesla. And then the second monitors here, the second monitor I have here is my watch list. So the way I have it set up, so I have 3 charts for each stocks, and I have 4 stocks here. So I have AMD 1-minute chart, AMD 5-minute chart, and AMD 15-minute chart here. Same thing for NVDA, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. Then I have PLTR and Tesla. Those were the 4 main stock I was having on my watch list that day. So that whole screen here is never changing. So the way I set up in the pre-market is going to stay the same until the end of my trading day. And this is where most of my focus is, because I will say that probably 80% of the time I'm not taking any trades. I'm just watching and searching for a trade. And when I search for a trade, that is where I look. So I look all of those charts and I'm waiting for my patterns to show. And then when I have a specific pattern showing, well, I will transition to that chart here of execution, and that's where I will place a trade. And what I have here on this side right there, it's my watch list basically. And those 2 screens I have up here, so this one is for the options. So often, like in that case, I was trading options. So not going to get too much in detail, because if you're new to trading, I don't recommend jumping into options just yet. I might have some course in the future talking more in detail about options, but I use this screen to place my trades with contracts. And this screen here is more for documentation. So after taking a trade, I will mark down the kind of return I made on the trade, what kind of strategy I was using, if it reached some certain levels, and that's where I just document with a pretty basic Excel file. For documentation, you can use multiple kind of platforms as well. I know there's like TradeZilla, there's TraderSync, there's some amazing platform out there. For me, I always like to use an Excel file, keep it pretty simple here. But this is basically how my trading platform looks. So really, really clean. That's the way I like it. But if you want to keep things even more simpler, you can remove those 2. Just keep 2 big streams like that, and you'll be good to go. So now that you have your broker, you have your platform, you're ready to start trading, well, the first step you're going to go through is before the market opens. So you need to prepare yourself for the action at 9:30 Eastern time. So how to build a watch list. This is really important. This is picking up the tickers, the stocks that you're going to trade on that specific day. So we saw on the previous slide here, right here, my setup. So how do I build those 4 stock here? So how I decided that I wanted to trade that day: AMD, NVDA, PLTR, and Tesla. So this is what we're going to see together in this part of the presentation. So there's a bunch of different criteria that I'm looking for to build that watch list. The first one is I only trade mid to large float stocks. So what I mean by that is that I will look for stocks that are over $10 a share and have decent liquidity. So those stocks for me are pretty much the same. It's always NVDA, AMD, Tesla, Apple, those main stocks. That's what I'm aiming for. When I see some stocks of, let's say, $5 a share is a random company that I have no idea about, I tend to stand away from those. There's a lot of day traders that have a lot of success with those penny stock, but for me personally, I don't trade that way. So I like to keep my focus on mid to large float stocks. Then volume over 500,000 shares traded in the pre-market. So in the pre-market, I will look at the volume traded, and really important for me to see that it's over 500K minimum. I usually like to see over a million for more confidence. And what I've said previously, why I trade stocks like NVDA, Tesla, and they come back often is because those stocks always have a lot of volume, and that's what I'm looking for. So that way I'm able to jump in a position and exit the position really easily. It's like jumping into a wave, and nobody is gonna see me. So I'm like a little fish in the ocean here. Then another thing I look at is the ATR that needs to be minimum 0.5. ATR, if you're confused, is the average true range. So usually it's calculated on a period of 14 days. So it's the average movement per day on the last 14 days and needs to be at least over 0.5 to give me confidence that on that day, that particular ticker usually have a certain fluctuation. Then a 1% gap up or gap down, it's something I look for as well in the pre-market. This criteria is not 100% necessary because, for example, if I trade stocks like or have stocks in my watch list like NVDA, Tesla, even though they don't gap up more than 1% in the pre-market, they usually have some pretty decent movement when the market open. But if you want to trade stocks that are a little bit more random, let's after earnings, well, make sure there's a significant gap up or down in that case. Then pre-market price actions needs to be clear. This one is important. You need to look at the candlestick in the pre-market and they need to look almost like the market is already open. You don't want to see some really choppy price action with some candles having like nobody, no wicks. Usually when you have the pre-market action that is not clear is because the volume is not high. So those two goes together, but important to pay attention to how it looks in the pre-market. And when I'm gonna have on the next part of this presentation, I'm gonna share with you in live the way I build my watch list. I'm gonna show you some example of some stocks that the pre-market price action is just not good enough. Then some kind of catalyst like earnings or news is great. This one again, not necessary. Like NVDA, Tesla, even if there's no news, no catalyst, they will still move good. But for example, earnings season is great for a lot of movements. It brings a lot of liquidity, a lot of interest, and that's what I'm looking for. Then another thing to pay attention to is the spread. So you need to see a small spread in between the bid and the ask. If you're new to trading, you might be confused here what I mean by bid and ask. So bid and ask is basically the people that are willing to buy. This is the bid. Then you have the people willing to sell. This is the ask. So it's always a fight in between the two. So one guy is trying to sell to the other and the other is trying to sell to the one that wants to buy. But when you see a big gap, so a big difference in between those two, let's say you have a stock trading at $100 a share, and let's say the bid is at $100 and you have the at $100 and then you have the ask at $102. Well, that means that the moment you enter, you will be down 2%. Because when you enter a position, you enter at the ask. And when you sell a position, you sell at the bid. So important to pay attention to the spread here because you don't want to lose a lot of money the moment you enter the trade. And the last thing here about the watch list is that if you're new to trading, I recommend you, really recommend you to don't watch more than 3 to 4 stocks. When you get more experience, you get more comfortable, you can slowly go to 5 stocks, 6 stocks. And it really, again, depends of your style here. But for me personally, if I go over 6 stocks on my watch list, it will get really too noisy for me and I'm gonna lose some details. So for me, my best is 4, 5, max 6 stocks. But if you're starting, I think 3 to 4 stocks is a really good bracket here. So this is pretty much what I'm looking for to build my watch list. And now a really important thing here is that for all of those criteria, you can use scanners. So scanners can help you to give you a list of the stocks you can potentially watch. So there's a bunch of different platforms out there. The one I've been using is Trading Terminal. So Trading Terminal, you can have different kind of filters set up. And then with those filters, with all the criteria we saw together is going to give you a list of gappers up, gappers down, and that way you can scan through that list and decide which stocks you want to trade. But again, every day I pretty much starts with the same stocks like AMD, Tesla, NVDA. Those are on my watch list pretty much every single day. And after that, I'm looking for 2, 3 more stock using those scanners. So this is how I build a watch list. Now you understand how to build a watch list and what you're looking for in the pre-market, but the pre-market preparation goes a lot deeper than that. So the power of preparation. Most traders lose before the market even opens. Why? Because they show up unprepared, mentally scattered, no plan and no focus. Your pre-market routine set the tone for your entire trading session. So if you prepare with intention, you will trade with confidence. And this is something really underrated, but you need to be and make sure that you're in the right state of mind and really calm, focused, ready to attack the day. So the step one, I wake up early and ground yourself. Really important. So I make sure to wake up at least 1 hour before the market opens. That gives me time to get centered, not rush. If I miss my alarm, I wake up 20 minutes before the market open. This is a bad idea and this is a recipe for disaster, at least for me. So I'll do a quick check-in with myself during that first hour after waking up. So how's my energy level? I need to be aware of, am I tired? Did I slept good last night? What is my stress level? Am I experiencing a lot of stress in my personal life that could potentially affect my trading? That's another thing to be really aware of. If maybe it's a specific day where you're tired, you didn't sleep well, you feel stressed, maybe you should step away from the trading day. Maybe you should just reduce your risk, but you should be aware of that, and that way set yourself differently for the trading session. So another question I will ask myself is, am I calm and focused? Because that's the kind of state I need to be in. So if I feel off, I feel tired, frustrated, or impatient, I will take a few deep breaths, sometimes step outside for a few minutes, and make sure to come back calm and focus. So trading with the wrong energy will lead you to force some trades, and that way you have big mistakes. And trust me, I've been through those mistakes. I traded days I shouldn't be trading. One good example of that is actually the first day I arrived in Colombia. So I was having a night flight. I was flying, I think, from Montreal. I was flying like from 11 in the night. I arrived at like 4 in the morning in Bogota. And then I got excited. I decided to trade that morning. And at that time, I ended up with my worst trading loss. I lost $10,000 and was just from really bad decisions. So what should have been only a $500 loss turned into a 10K loss just because I didn't accept to be wrong. I was not in the right state of mind. I was emotional, and that cost me a lot. So that was my first day in Colombia. Funny story, but if you can learn from my mistakes, I will be really happy there. Then the step two. So I log in and build my watch list. So we already saw together how to build a watch list. So about 15 minutes before the open, I will log into Dash Trader Pro and start building up my watch list, looking at the scanners. Now it takes me about 10-15 minutes. If you're new to trading, I will recommend you to spend a little bit more time building your watch list, maybe 30 minutes before the market open. That's what I will recommend. So what I will look for, like we saw together, stocks with news or catalysts, stocks with high volume, with high volatility. So gappers, big movers in the pre-market, that's what I will look for. So me personally, at that point in my career, I will aim for 4 to 6 stocks. Maximum, if you're new to trading, keep it smaller so you don't have too much noise in front of you. And that's enough to have options without being overwhelmed. So with a watch list of 4 to 6 stocks, I see patterns almost every single day. There's maybe one day every 2, 3 weeks that I have no trades, but more often than not, like 4 to 6 stocks is plenty to find some decent setups. Now, the step 3 is visual and mental setup. This one is really important. So I will place those 4 to 6 stock on my watch list screen. So that way, my watch list will be ready. Then I will take one more deep breath before the market open to make sure to be centered with myself, to be conscious of my state. And the goal is to start the session calm, focused, confident, not reactive. Really important, that step. By now, I hope you have a better idea of everything I do before the market open, how I make sure to be prepared, what I'm looking for, and what my trading platform looks like. In this next step of the presentation, the last step of this video, I want to actually connect on a live trading day in the pre-market, so a little bit before the market open, and walk you through all of those things we saw together. So all the criteria I'm looking for, how I build my watch list, and how I prepare myself before the trading day. So we're gonna see each other in that live pre-market prep just in a bit. Hey, so it's currently 9:20. We have about 9 minutes to the open here. So I'm starting to build my watch list, look around what kind of stock I'm going to trade. So first of all, the screen you're seeing here is my execution screen. So I have where I will place all of my orders right here. And then here is the place where I will build my watch list like we saw together. So the first thing I will do is look at the casual stock that I intend to look pretty much every single day, like NVDA, Tesla, AMD, PLTR. So let's take a look at it. So the first one, NVDA. So I see that NVDA is gapping up here 3.8% and have 17 million shares traded already in the pre-market. So definitely a lot of interest with NVDA. So this one definitely is going to be on my watch list today. We can see that the pre-market price action here is really clean. It almost looked like the market is already open. A lot of volatility, a lot of volume, liquidity. That's what I want. The other one I'm going to look at is Tesla. So let's see what Tesla is doing this morning. I see Tesla is gapping up 0.69%. So not that much of a gap up, but nonetheless, good amount of volume, 1.5 million shares traded. So that will be in my watch list for sure as well. We can see that the movement in the pre-market is good. Not as good as NVDA, but still decent. I know when the market opened, Tesla always trade good. So this one will be on my watch list. The other one I'm going to look at is AMD. AMD gapping up 1.8%, 1.6 million shares traded. So really good volume here. The pre-market price action a little choppy here, but it's a ticker I'm really aware of. I've been trading AMD for a while, so I know that even though sometimes the pre-market looks choppy, it always trades good when the market opens. So this one will be on my watches as well. The other one of my casual trading stocks will be PLTR. So PLTR 0.7% gap up, so not that much. Have less than a million shares traded, but more than my minimum, which is 500K. So let's take a look at the pre-market price action. Really choppy, not what you want to see, but nonetheless, I know PLTR is another one that usually trades really good. So those four, at least since the beginning of the year, they're always on my watch list. And then to pick some secondary stocks, some other stock, if I see that those are not trading good, I will look through the scanners. So one that I see through the scanners that looks interesting is FE. I have no idea what that company is, but they're gapping down 41% with 7 million shares traded. I see that the spread a little bit high, so gotta be cautious about this one. The spread is moving a lot, so sometimes it goes down to 0.1 cent. Right now it's almost at 0.30 cents, so gotta be careful with this one. I see that they're moving a lot. Got some news around 7 a.m. this morning. So I'm gonna keep that one as a secondary. I'm not too confident about that one, especially looking at the daily chart here. I can see that it's gapping down and there's no level around here. So it's like unknown territory and I have no idea how the stock is gonna react around there. So we'll see if gives some interesting opportunities. For now, we'll keep it as a secondary. And I might remove it seeing the first couple minutes how the stock is gonna move. We'll see. Another one I see in the gappers and that has been pretty good in the past couple of days is SMCI. So let's put it here on my watch list. Oh, let's write it correctly. So SMCI gapping up 3.6% here this morning, have 1 million shares traded. And pretty interesting this one. If we look at it together, we can see that for the pretty much all of the pre-market until 9:05 a.m. was no volume, no movement. We can see that it was pretty choppy. If I put this chart bigger so you guys can see, that was the pre-market price action. So not what you want to see. And at that point, not a lot of volume. So if I was a little bit earlier around 8:45 and I saw that, I wouldn't be interested in SMCI. Where it got actually interesting here is after 9:05. So I don't know if some kind of news came out, probably because there's a lot of movement, a lot of volume that came in here. So it's starting to trade more like the market is already open. So that's the kind of price action you want to see in the pre-market. So definitely interesting here as MCI, and I will keep it as well as a secondary, but definitely more interesting than FE here. So I will keep an eye on this MCI. And the last one I see on the gappers is Amazon. So Amazon gapping up 1.3% and have 2 million shares traded already in the pre-market. Usually Amazon don't have that much volume in the pre-market. So having 2 million shares traded here is pretty interesting. I don't know if they had earnings, if they reported earnings, if they had some news that came out, but similar story as SMCI here. The volume start coming in around 8:45, move up pretty significantly, and is trading pretty nicely with good amount of volume here. So I will keep an eye on Amazon as well. That looks promising. So far I have 7 stock here, so this is too much for me. I need to let go of one, and the one I am less confident about is FE here. So I will still give it a shot for the first minute or two, see how it moves. But if not too much volume is coming in, if it's too far away from the VWAP, I will just remove it from my watch list and go from there. So my watch list is pretty much done here. The only thing that is missing for me is to move those main stocks, so NVDA, Tesla, AMD, PLTR, to my other screen. Like we saw together, my other screen is pretty much my watch list where I have 4 stocks with 3 different time frames each. So the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute. So I will move those stocks here, prepare it on the chart, and after that, we have about 2 minutes 30 to the open. So I will make sure to take a big deep breath, make sure to be calm, to be ready for the market open, and have a good trading day, no matter the kind of result I'm going to have. So that's pretty much what I do in the pre-market. It's pretty straightforward, pretty fast. If you're new to trading, like I said, I recommend you coming a little bit earlier, gives you more time to analyze the chart, see what you're going to watch. But for me, those are the main stock I'm going to watch today, and I'll keep you guys posted on what kind of day I will have through my social media. Cheers, everyone.